so embarrassed because, I'm 45 years in the business, and now in the last 20, 30 years, I don't know the talents, so sometimes I go to Comic-Cons. It's so funny because, I do about 10 a year there. I went to Europe. I'm going a little bit everywhere. I'm going to Nashville next week. And I sit down and I see all these people in line in front of this guy that I've never seen before, and I'm saying, hey, I always ask, hey, that guy's popular. Who is he? Oh, well, that's TM Punk. Oh, yeah, okay. And so, but it's like, so it's funny, so that's where I'm at, guys. So please don't go with too much the intellectual
No, not at all.
questions about the talent there.
Not at all.
So how'd you like the Attitude Era? Oh, you missed it. Never mind. That's hilarious.
I know The Rock.
There you
I know
go.
The Rock, but he was more V at the time.
There you go. You mentioned, obviously, we're talking about the Heart, so let's talk about when you did win the Intercontinental title, which I was so thrilled. Bret Hart bores me to tears. Thank you, Mountie. Anyway, only 2 days you hold it, and they did it under the guise that, well, Bret had the flu? How did that make you feel? And couldn't they find some other better way to put you over? What is that?
To be honest with you, when I look back at it, I appreciate that Vince, took me to make the title change because now, like I said, everywhere I go, people look at me and it's funny because I'm the worst, but everybody looks at me and say, oh man, you're the greatest Intercontinental champion of all times. And I have a lot of my fans that say that.
Those 48 hours were killer.
And I say, I hope you didn't blink your eyes. But anyway, so it's like, but taking it from Bret, I was so happy when they announced it to me, but then I was so disappointed when he went into the ring and he said he had 104-degree fever and that the doctor told him that he shouldn't wrestle and that he's going to wrestle anyway. So I guess I beat a sick man. But it's okay. But that's the way it was. At least I got to tell you guys this story real fast. What was fun about it is when I had the belt that night. It was about 11 o'clock. I got back in the dressing room and I called this reporter in Montreal, a friend of mine. He's about 60 years old. He goes to bed at 8 o'clock, 7 at night. And so I called him up and I said, I told him, I said, hey, listen, I said, would you mind? I said, I'm going to send you a picture today. André Rousseau was his name. I said, André, I said, do you mind if he says, Jacques, it's like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. I'm sleeping. I said, yeah. I said, he says, call me, not tomorrow. I'm doing hockey. I'm doing this. No. I said, no. He says, call me in a couple of days. I said, no, I can't. I said, you have to put the picture in tomorrow or the next day. Because I knew that I was going to lose it, but it was fun because they put the picture, they did the nice thing in the Montreal paper for me, winning the Intercontinental title, and then it was funny because I loved Rowdy Piper. I really loved the guy. He was such a nice guy in the dressing room, such a nice guy, and he came up to me, and I told him, I said, I have an idea. I said, would you mind if I'd like to suggest something? He says, go ahead, brother, go ahead. And he was taking the title from me. And I said, anyway, I said, listen, I said, I'd like for you to wear this vest under your shirt that says anti-shock on it, So I'll do a finish there where I shock you with the stick. And, and you take the bump and I turn around and I go, I am the Mountie. And then I turn back around and he's right back in my face and boom and bing and bang but people really like that anti-shock shirt thing, but he went right with it. And that was fun for me, because, so the only thing I didn't like working with Rowdy was, Jesus, he was so in shape. He'd never stop, you couldn't keep him down. He wasn't the kind of heel that I'd get heat like on the Boss Man or heat on the Rockers or the Hearts where you got him down and you have time to acknowledge the people and get your heat, and I had a lot of communication with the fans but with Rowdy, you better get to your business and do your business fast because he's going to stop you and he's going to take over. And then, so that was the only thing I didn't like. I liked a little less working with Rowdy, but that's why he was so hot and that's why he was such a character,
How was Roddy as a person to other people in the locker room, and Roddy in general? Can you describe Roddy Piper, the human being?
Rowdy was a special kind of guy. Rowdy was a guy who I would say he was always nice to everybody. always nice to everybody. He would talk to everybody, and he wouldn't. Not only would he would talk to everybody, but he would talk about your family. He would ask you about the things that were bringing you back to real life. And he was a really nice guy. I love that guy a lot.
I don't